G'day folks, Wren here, and it is time to announce the Australian Readathon. So in all of my videos, in the description, I put an acknowledgement of country in there, but let's say it out front this time, shall we? So I would like to acknowledge the Kaurna people, who are the traditional custodians of the land on which I am filming and living, and I would like to pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging, and to acknowledge that sovereignty was never ceded. Very much paying my respects to the Kaurna people and the wider Indigenous community of Australia. The urge to sing Waltzing Matilda right now is so strong, but I'll refrain for all of our sakes. But welcome to the announcement video for the Australian Readathon. So what is the Australian Readathon, I hear you ask? It is a readathon happening from the 1st to the 30th of November, and it is where you read Australian authored books. But this readathon was created by Mel from a book fiend named Mel, and she kindly asked me to co-host, as well as Stef from the Novelty Corner and Meredith from Reading with Merb. Basically, this readathon is just celebrating Australian authors and, you know, hyping them up, because there are some gems in Australian authored books. You know, we've got some good ones, so why not celebrate all the good that they're doing? So for this readathon, it's really simple. You can complete the bingo board that we will have, or just read some Australian authored books. Very simple, very casual readathon, because we're all Australian. We love casual. It's like in our DNA at this point. So we have a bingo board. We also have a group read, and I am really excited about this group read because I've been wanting to reread this for a while. So our group read is The Boy from the Mish by Gary Lonesborough. This is such a good book. Highly recommend. If you haven't read it, now's the time to do it. This is a YA contemporary novel about two Indigenous boys, very slice of life, a friendship develops and more, and it's a really good time. It's a queer Indigenous story and it's beautiful. I read it in one day when I first read it. But basically we have one boy has to come and stay at this house over the summer holidays, which is Christmas time in Australia, and he has to share a room with this other boy, and through sharing that room they get to know each other, become friends, and you know, you really see just the everyday life of these teenagers and all of the underlying and overlying racism that also happens to Indigenous people in Australia, which is not a good time. Please go pick it up. It's a great novel and a debut novel. Fantastic. But then we also have our bingo board that you can complete. First square, LGBTQIA+ rep, an Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander author. Then we have a middle grade or YA, a hot setting. Then of course in the middle we have a free space. Fill that with whatever you want, as long as that's an Australian author. The next prompt is orange on the cover. Then we have a pretty obvious one, set in Australia. Then we have an indie or self-pubbed book. And the last square on this bingo board is a host fave. I will point out that A Boy from the Mish, it covers almost every single one of those prompts. It's an LGBTQIA+ book. It's by an Aboriginal author. It's a YA. It's a hot setting because it is over the summer holiday. There's orange on the cover and it's set in Australia. And it's also a host fave, actually. Almost all of them except the indie or self-pubbed, but I mean, you could hit almost every single prompt with one book. How amazing is that? So for the host faves, we have another graphic for this. All of the hosts chose 3 of our favourite Australian authored books, and you can pick any of those, but there's a general theme of just because we chose that one book doesn't mean we're excluding the rest of the author's work. So if you've read one of these books, be like, huh, have I read another book by that author? If not, read that. It'll count. So for Mel, we have The Killing Code by Ellie Marnie, then After Story by Larissa Berend, and Sabriel by Garth Nix. For Stef, we have Not My Type by Evie Mitchell, Catching Teller Crow by Amberlynn Quemelina, and Ezekiel Quemelina. That's awful pronunciation, I'm so sorry. And lastly, The Dry by Jane Harper. For Meredith, we have The Queen is Dead by Stan Grant, The Yield by Tara June Winch, and We Didn't Think It Through by Gary Lonesborough. And then my 3 favourites Hangman by Jack Heath, House of Hollow by Crystal Sutherland, and It's Been a Pleasure, Noni Blake by Claire Christian. So plenty of books there for you to choose from. Some of the hosts will be coming out with recommendation videos later on in the month. There'll be plenty of recommendations for you in that, so watch out for those. We'll also be doing our TBRs closer to November, so again, look out for that. It's going to be a really fun time, like I said, very chill, as is the Australian way, and there'll be some sprints, will be some good, nice, fun times. So I really hope you join us for this. There is a Discord link in the description below. Join that, come and chat with us. There you will find all of the graphics as well, and we hope you have the funnest of times in this Australian readathon. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye! I also want you to know Waltzing Matilda has been in my head this entire time. It's super annoying. Goodbye.